Hi YouTubers, my name is Kevin and you're watching The Royal We. In this message I want to talk with you about how you can crush toxic narcissism simply by living authentically. Your true authentic self. Now obviously finding your true authentic self is not that simple, let alone being able to walk out in an authentic existence. But in this message I hope to give you some understanding and some principles that you can use that will help you to identify your true unique authenticity. We're going to talk about what authentic living is. We're going to talk about ideas of how you can find your true authenticity. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about how authenticity crushes narcissism and toxicity. If this sounds good to you, hit the like button right now. All right then. Last night I uploaded a video and that video talked about conditional living. Now for those of you who missed that video, I'm going to break down the three components of what conditional living actually is. This is when you require people who you are with to behave a certain way towards you and to treat you in a certain way in order for you to even show up, be present, feel comfortable, and be yourself. That's the first criteria. The second criteria is that you should be able to, in any situation, tell somebody that they are treating you badly or behaving badly and they should change, once again, in order for you to feel like you can show up and be present and be yourself and be at peace. And then the third component is that if it doesn't work with you telling somebody to change, then you can get somebody else to defend you and cause that person to change or treat you differently, once again, so that you can feel like you can show up and be present and feel comfortable being yourself and being at peace. This is what we call conditional living, and many of us live in this area to some extent. Now, narcissists typically are way on the deep end of the swimming pool of conditional living. Their life is built on conditions that have to be met in order to feed their bottomless pit of an ego. And if these conditions are not met, conditions of you looking up to them and admiring them, of their grandiosity, or even them fighting you and getting you to cower away, them bullying you, this is feeding that condition, right? And if these conditions aren't met, they get mad and they fight like their life depends on it, and that's because their life does depend on it. As we said, they're drowning in the need for these conditions to be met in order to prop up their ego. Now, on the opposite end of conditional living is authentic living. Authentic living, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this message. And as I said, we typically are right here in the middle somewhere, where sometimes we are living based on conditions that we need to have met, but sometimes we're trying our best to look more towards the authentic life, right? But we're struggling. Let's get over there. Let's get off the fence and let's get into authentic living so that we can crush narcissism and toxicity from our lives. Now, what does authentic living look like? What is authentically living at all? Well, living authentically means that you are living from within yourself, from the wellspring that is within your own life, according to your own morals, your own values, your own integrity. You are living out your purpose and your calling in life based on these things. You're walking in life based on these things that you are certain of and confident of, and you do not require any input or opinions on it from the outside, nor do you stop because of criticisms, or nothing can take away this authentic passion that you have. You know who you are authentically. The perfect example of the authentic living lifestyle would be that of Jesus in the ancient texts of the Bible. Jesus embodied and exemplified what an authentic lifestyle looked like. He taught from the wellspring within himself. He was not given opinions of what he needed to say or where he needed to go or what he needed to do. He just did these things against all the people who were opposed to him. Now, a lot of people only understand the suffering of Jesus to be when he was beaten and flogged and bloodied and punched and spit on and hung on a cross with nails in his hands. But what most people fail to realize is that most of his experience in teaching would be what you and I would consider to be suffering in these days. He was met with lots of criticism. The religious leaders of the time, and the Romans and the Greeks hated him because of his authentic abilities. The reason they hated him is because they had no control. They couldn't tell him to stop. He wouldn't stop. They couldn't redirect him. They couldn't say, hey, we're the religious leaders. He challenged that, right? They hated him for it, so they criticized him publicly. But it did not stop him because he was living authentically. And nor did he need their help, right? He required nothing outside of himself. This is authentic living. Another aspect of Jesus I want to point out is the friendship dynamics that he had. Now, Jesus selected the friends that he allowed in his inner circle. He didn't let people select him. He knew them by name. He called them out. Simon, Peter, follow me. Nathanael, follow me. These people were blown away that Jesus knew their names. You know me? Jesus said, of course I know you. I know your heart, and I know that you are a good fit. For the purpose and the passions that I have, you fit within the authentic lifestyle that I am living. And watch this, he also rejected people for the same reason. There's a story of the rich young ruler that approached Jesus and basically said, Jesus, what's the keys to enter the kingdom of heaven? In other words, he's saying, how can I be your friend? I want to be your friend. I want to be in your group. How can I be in your crew? And Jesus looked him up and down and said, dude, rich young ruler, huh? I'll tell you what, go give away all your riches and then come back and follow me. What he was saying is, I don't care about your riches. Show me you're committed to this lifestyle. Show me that you're committed to this authentic way of living. Rich young ruler couldn't do it. He walked away saddened. Let me ask you right now, how many of you, by a show of hands, if a rich young ruler came knocking on your door and said, hey, let's be friends. I got my yacht outside. Let's go. Let's go have some fun. Woo! How many of you would say, come on, go give your riches away. Show me that you're committed to a relationship, and then we'll be friends, right? How many of you, if a rich young ruler said, marry me, would you say, go give away your wealth, and then ask me to marry you? Because then I'll know you're committed. We don't think like that, now do we? And this is how you know that you're not living authentically, because you're not putting your authentic needs first. Instead, you're looking externally at, oh my gosh, that person's rich, or oh my gosh, that person has big muscles, that person's handsome, that person's funny. For you dudes watching this video, it's that girl's hot, and she's got big boobs or whatever. She dresses in this clothes. Ooh, that's hot. Yeah, marry me, right? That's such an unauthentic way of living, and that's just allowing others to choose for you what you need in your life. And it's no wonder we end up in abusive relationships. You see, Jesus was so authentic that he saw past everything, and he said, if you want to be in an authentic relationship, get rid of the stuff that doesn't matter, right? So now that we got an understanding and an image of what it looks like to be authentic, let's talk about some ideas in which you can find your authenticity in life. This is the difficult part. Many of us don't even know where to begin in order to find our authentic selves and get rid of narcissism and toxicity. And so becoming authentic is unique to each and every one of us. Me becoming authentic is going to be different than you becoming authentic because we are authentically different. You follow me on that? But I can give you some ideas of where to begin. The first thing is we need to deconstruct two important things that we've developed in this life. The first thing is false narratives. You need to deconstruct and take apart the false narratives that you have picked up in this life. Let me give you an example of some false narratives. One of them is that you need to get along with everybody. You need to like everybody. Worse than that, you need to love everybody, whatever that means. After all, the Bible says, love your enemies, right? Well, actually, it doesn't say love the way you and I understand love. That word love didn't exist in the language that the Bible was written in. The word is agape, which means to do good. So what's actually being said is do good to people you don't like, your enemies. What Jesus is really saying is you don't have to like everybody. Mind blown, right? Here we are walking around thinking we have to be, in order to be good people, we have to like everybody. That's conditional living. And a lot of churches have used this in a very propaganda way to get us to believe that we have to like everybody and that everybody has to like us. That's conditional living, right? That's a false narrative. You don't have to like everybody to be good to them. And not everybody has to like you in order for you to be good to them. That is what Jesus was saying, right? Let's talk about another false narrative that you can break down. How about never leave your parents, right? That's how you honor your mom and dad. Live next door to them all the days of your life. Let them, infiltrate your house and your wife and your husband and your kids. No, that's not honoring. As a matter of fact, the ancient text of the Bible in Genesis says, therefore a man and a woman shall leave the mother and father and become united with their new partner. You have to leave and separate from mom and dad so you can leave your parents and still honor them. So again, that goes against the narrative that we have been given in society as family sticks together. Man, it's all about blood. Our blood is our gang. We're tribe, blah, 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 right? Listen, there's another interesting scripture where people ran to Jesus in the New Testament and said, Jesus, your mom and your brothers, they want to talk to you. Jesus' response was, who are my mother and who are my brothers? And then he pointed to his disciples and he said, here, these people are my mother, my brother, my sister, my father. He's saying, don't fall into the narrative that blood is all that matters. It's not. Your family can be whoever you let into your circle who resonates with your authenticity, because some of you have family that's keeping you from finding your authenticity and your true authentic self. And that's the harsh truth of it. Your family, your blood has you living under conditions and has you conditionally living and stuck. And it's time to break that. So now I challenge you to, on your own, start to discover and write out your own false narratives. This is going to help you lead to your true, authentic self. You're going to get to your authenticity by first deconstructing the false narratives. The same is true for the second thing, which is conditioning. Understand that you've been conditioned. From the time you were born, you were conditioned to eat your Rice Krispies and Frosted Flakes and Captain Crunch and God knows whatever they put in that cereal for you to eat with the milk. And make sure you get your shots, and then make sure you go to school and then get your education so you can get a job, so you can get into debt, so you can pay the debt off, and then you can buy a house and get in more debt and pay that debt off and spend the rest of your life paying your debt off, right? And make sure to get a white picket around a fence around your house and have a cat and a dog and wife and have a few kids while you're at it, and that's your life. This is what you've been conditioned to do, right? We want to deconstruct the conditioning. Who says you have to get married? Who says you have to buy a house? This is the conditioning aspect. Works great for a machine-like society, right? But I'm not going to get into conspiracies with you, but what I want to do is challenge you to start to deconstruct your own conditioning as it's been done in your life. These things are going to help you to identify your true, authentic self. Last but not least, how does being authentic crush narcissism? Simple. You are uncontrollable when you are authentic. A narcissist can have no power over you. Their opinions of you will not matter. Their attempts to drag you into a fight will not work. Anything they say will bounce right off you like you're a super person. Bink! And you'll be like, what? Who? Did someone just say something to me? Oh, because it won't matter, because you'll be living your life from the wellspring of within yourself. Nothing irritates narcissists more than knowing they have no control over you, knowing that they cannot bully you or engage with you or demand from you, and that their existence is less than that of your true authentic self. And already it is. Why does it crush them? Because they are conditional beings. Their survival depends on how you interact with them and how you engage with them. And by simply in your own authenticity saying, I'm not engaging, they're crushed. Their heads are crushed. This is how you crush narcissism. Not by fighting with them, not by engaging with them, not by putting them down. That is playing into their life of conditional living. That's you saying, I can't be happy unless I put you down the way you put me down. I can't find my peace unless I hurt you the way you hurt me. That's conditionally living. Authentically living is you living from the wellspring of your own life, and you pay no attention to the thoughts or the opinions or whatever the heck kind of weird, drowning, conditional living the narcissists are living. Yes, they're going to put on Facebook and social media how awesome their life is, because that's the condition that they need the world to see them in. Otherwise, they drowned. You, on the other hand, being authentic, the whole world can look at you as you being one hot mess, but guess what? You are authentically you. And so whatever the world thinks doesn't matter. And one of these days, you're going to realize that it's you and possibly your partner, if you have one, against the world. It really is. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey and ultimately helping you to find your true authentic self. So visit www.jointheroyalwe.com. Schedule a one-on-one appointment with me. We can do an over-the-phone consultation or a FaceTime consultation for those of you who are iPhone or Apple users. You can do an email consultation if you would like to do that as well. Also, join me every Monday night for Royal We Live Chat. This is an opportunity for the community to come together, ask questions. You can even call in for free, as long as you realize that it is a live show. And then also join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for Royal We Fellowship. This is a Bible study unlike any other Bible study you've been a part of. We are looking at the biblical text from the perspective of understanding this toxic, narcissistic world. So be sure to join Royal We Fellowship. You can find links to all of these channels right down below in the description box, along with access to Instagram and Facebook and lots of other good things. So check out the description box down below for all of that, and I'll be back with more videos right here on the Royal We.